foremost, congratulations, you're through to the grand final. Must be an awesome feeling within the team.
Yeah, I was stoked. Obviously, 2 years too long, so we're ready to go, and really good feeling. Big day of training today, so we'll be ready.
And on a personal level, you'll become the most capped Waratah of all time. Obviously, your mind's focused on winning the grand final, but you must be proud of yourself.
Yeah, pretty proud. Obviously, I think with the capping process, we kind of discovered all these achievements and records that weren't previously out in public. So yeah, I think it's really cool for myself. Obviously, played here since the inception of Super W, and I love this club, and hopefully a few more to add in a few more years. So yeah, really happy, and yeah.
And what do the Waratahs mean to you?
Waratahs is everything to me. It's a home and somewhere where you belong, and yeah, it's been the most stable thing in my life probably ever. So yeah, I think it's just somewhere where we all feel really comfortable, and I love playing for this club, and everyone involved has such big influence in your life, and cares so much about our team and everyone that plays in that blue jersey. So it means a lot, and yeah, to be able to be the most capped is a big achievement.
You guys have gone through the trials and then the regular season undefeated. Is that a bit of a double-edged sword in terms of you're full of confidence, but you don't want to come into the match overconfident, because it all really matters on Sunday?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I don't really look too far into that. I think it's kind of funny. We're a team that's never really satisfied. So, you know, we get into some change rooms after games where we've won by a big margin, and it's like a funeral in there because, you know, someone's done one thing poorly, and I think we're just a team that's always striving for excellence, and yeah, it hasn't really been talked about much, and what's happened has happened. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that matters is 2 o'clock on Sunday. So yeah, I think, you know, we're confident with our skill set and the way that we play footy, but yeah, we know we can get the job done.
Sort of touched on, you know, 2 years too long, getting back to the final, missing out on 22 and 23. Has that made you appreciate just how special it is to be back this year?
Yeah, I think yeah, the first 4 years, obviously, you know, we won those first 4 championships, and it didn't come easy. It was a lot of hard work and you know, big grind. But I think once you lose that, you know, that 2022 one, it's a different feeling, and to not even be there last year was pretty heartbreaking. And you know, there was a few girls that retired last year, Illy and Fee, and a few others that we really wanted to send out with that win, and we didn't do that for them. So I think we owe it to a lot of girls to be able to, you know, get that trophy back here.
It's a common theme for that has been the Drua, you know, getting done 22 and 23. How's that rivalry with the Drua really brought the best out of the side? And the second question on top of that is, how much confidence or how satisfying was it to get that win in Fiji during the regular season?
Yeah, I think obviously they play a completely different style of rugby to the Aussie team, so it's been really cool having them in the competition and challenging ourselves. You know, that running rugby that they play and the offloads is, you know, it's crazy. They're really good at it, and you know, it's a credit to them and how they've grown up and played. So obviously, you know, that's a big challenge for us, and I think we've learnt from past years, you know, how to combat that and how to play our best footy against them. You know, everyone talks about them and their style and how they play and how they're so good, but I think that we kind of fly under the radar a bit. Everyone just thinks that we give it to the fast people and let them score, but it's not really how our team plays, and I think there's a lot more to it than that people probably don't see, and we're happy with that. We don't mind, you know, like, we all know what it means for us and how we get there, so at the end of the day we've got a job to do, and we'll go do it.
Hey, you guys were unbeatable for years, and then Fiji arrived and obviously had some success. Did their arrival help you guys improve and evolve as a team? Like, has their arrival created the team of 2024?
Yeah, I think they challenged us in a way that other teams hadn't. I think, you know, it's similar in men's Super Rugby, like, they just play so differently. Like, you know, it's Australian teams play like how we play, and, you know, other countries, they play differently. So I think it gave us a different challenge, and probably made us get a deeper understanding of rugby and how differently it can be played or can be defended or attacked. Or yeah, so I think, like, for personal growth and for growth within Australian rugby, it's great to play teams that have different, systems and different styles, and can only help us get better.
Have you got your game plan against them pretty nailed down now? Like as far as what, the last couple of years, they can turn it on, right? You can get a shell shot. Do you better?
Yeah, definitely better prepared. I think, I think it was a bit of a whirlwind the first couple of years that they were here, and we probably weren't as prepared or as knowledgeable about how to combat that. So, I think the coaches have done a really good job of coming up with a plan to minimise that, and we just have to execute. That's the players' job. So they've done all they can, and we know that we've got the skills to be able to come away with the win. So it's our turn just to put that on the field.
And how do you process that win in Fiji? As far as it was a spectacular result, right? You thumped them.
Yeah.
Now you've got to go again.
It was probably it was a big score. It was a big score line, but probably didn't really reflect the game. I think it was 94% humidity and it was crazy, but I was spewing my guts up in the shower at half time, so I don't really remember much of the game, but I think we enjoyed that whole trip. We hadn't played over there before, so I think the whole thing was a really good experience to go away and for our men's team to be playing as well, and for our club, our whole club, it was a success, a good trip, but that was 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, and we've kind of moved on since then. And I think you can't ever underestimate Fiji. That scoreline says nothing about what's going to happen on Sunday, and they'll show up. They always do, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of Fijians in the crowd going off their heads. So I think that you can't ever underestimate a team like that. They love those big moments, and I'm sure their hands will be covered in glue in the weekend, and they'll be scoring tries. So we've just got to stop that.
Sorry, well, it's now the end of the season. Would you like this to be the halfway point of the season? Would you like there to be another 5 or 6 games? And how quickly can that come?
Yeah, I was talking about it yesterday and trying to, solve all the rugby world issues, but it definitely needs to expand this comp. It's been 7 years now and it hasn't changed much. Fiji obviously have come in, but you've got to see growth in the game and growth in the players, and the only way to do that is to expand, or it's pretty much it. So I think that there needs to be 2 rounds, and I think that the best way to do that from my perspective is to play the first round, play pack 4, and then come back and play a second round after that. So if you're listening, Phil Wall, that's my hot tip for you. But it's similar to what they do in the Premiership in England. They play their first, couple of rounds of the Premiership, and then they have a break for 6 Nations, and then they come back and play. And I think that it only benefits everyone, benefit the Wallaroos by having players playing at a higher level more consistently, and it'll benefit the comp as well. It's such a sprint. Obviously we're at the end of it, but you see teams like the Rebels and the Force, they're really coming to their own towards the back end of the season, and unfortunately for them, they didn't get that start, start out the gate at the start, so it's all over kind of thing. So I think that you play more, you get better, creates better players.
The end chances of the world and Bell McKenzie who go away and play heaps of footy. It's just a matter of playing more footy.
Yeah. I've played since I was 8 years old, so I've probably played more games than half the girls in this team put together. And that's just the nature of women's rugby is we have a lot of cross-coders, and now it's changing. I just saw Barbara Ellis walk in, and she's been playing footy, since she was a kid. So it'll be different once she's a 20-year-old. But I just think that we need to be playing at a higher level more consistently, because it's such jumps from, Super W to international and then down to club, and it's hard to stay at that level. And if we want to compete top 4 internationally, we need to be putting our best foot forward for that. So I think that growth is the only thing that can make that happen.
Just on that growth, since that sort of first game, where have you seen sort of biggest improvements in this club and just situation? And the second part is, where do you think, with the Cadbury deal signed a couple of days ago, where do you think sort of the sky's the limit is for this not only Super Rugby women's program, but the Wallaroos just in general?
Yeah, I think definitely a lot more professionalism. I think if you look at the actual athletes, we're now more athletic. In the first year, it was really great footy, really good rugby players. but a lot of it was based on rugby and not so much maybe athletic ability. So I think if you look across the field, super fit, strong, spent a lot of time on that. And rugby IQ's probably grown a lot, just the exposure to playing rugby. And then just like the seriousness of how the club takes us. I mean, Waratahs have been pretty good to us from the start, but just like doing things like this, like in the first year, like we didn't do this. Like, you know, it was lucky to get a Facebook post kind of thing. So I think just like there's been so much growth, and you know, it's funny being one of the ones that was here from the start. So I always tell the girls, you know, like you don't know what you've got now. And I feel so old when I say that, but it is true, you know. And there was 132 people before me that had, you know, less opportunity and less limelight for that to happen. So I think none of the girls ever take it for granted, but I think it's obviously grown massively, and the potential for more growth is, I mean, the sky's the limit really. We need to be full-time athletes. We need to be playing a longer season, and we need to be competing internationally at a top 4 team level. So, you know, to be in here every day is the goal, and I think we're headed on the right direction. But there's always room for growth.